Well, after thinking about it for a while, I decided that I did not want to have just a close shoreline and then looking up into some trees a little bit. It's such a big area that I wanted to allow the viewer to stretch their eyeballs even more than something close up. That way they can stand fairly close to the painting and still see off into the distance. You know, if it's too intimate for this painting, okay, it works just fine on paintings, but for this shape and size, my feeling right now for this particular canvas is that I would like to be able to look off into the distance. So I think what I'll do is pretend we're standing on some solid land here. It'll be fairly rocky, and maybe a bank coming in from the left. Again, you know, a bit of a aisle or a point of some sort, and then and maybe another island or two in the distance, and then maybe some even further away hills, you know, a very distant shoreline. And then that way I can include a lot of sky in it as well. Anyway, that's my thinking. I've gone a little lower than half. I think this is about, no, I think this is even a little bit lower than half. So I drew that in, sat back and looked at it and decided it was still too high on the horizon. I spent a lot of time while keeping in mind what my eventual subject matter will be or my eventual scene will be. I spent a lot of time deciding where to lay my, in this case it's not really the horizon because this will be where the distant water meets with the distant hills. So the horizon would be, you know, in here somewhere behind hills. But rather, the most important single line, I suppose, will be this, because that is what defines the water, separates the water from the land, and then from the sky. So this is pretty much straight across, obviously, horizontal line, pretty accurately. I'm going to draw something in just to show that we're, you know, that first one will be maybe an inch and a half closer. Something like that. And cutting into the water. I don't know. I'm going to have another think about it. So you can probably see now that this line will be where this rocky structure, or this little island landmass, where it meets the water. Now it's closer to us on the left-hand side than it is here. So that's why I've angled it a little bit. If I don't angle it enough, it'll almost look like it's a mistake. It'll look like I intended to have a straight horizon, you know, or parallel to this line, but didn't get it quite right. So I've exaggerated a little bit. What it also serves to do is, it's very gentle, but you know how if this were a highway, if I had a highway right down the middle here, you'd start at your vanishing point and then your highway would go like so, you know, it would get much wider as it gets closer to you. So this is sort of a gentle but similar idea. This line will help your eye to move towards this area where likely focal area will be around here somewhere. But it helps bring it into the painting. You don't have to do it. It's just something I like to do. Not all the time, but sometimes. So now that I have this structure in place, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, boy, you know, that I think that whole thing may be too high. I may have to take this line and drop it by, maybe 2 inches, you know? Maybe, I'm not sure yet. That's how it looks to me at the moment. What I'm going to do though is lay in my distance. The subject matter that's going to be closer to the horizon, I'm going to lay that in. And I'll put a few trees in here as well. And maybe I'll feel differently. But right now, boy, do I ever have a lot of space for water and foreground. Now my intention was always to have quite a strong rocky foreground here. So I'll just keep playing. You know, sometimes you don't know what to do with this until this is done. Sometimes you don't know what to do with this until this is done, you know? So you're just, I kind of bounce around the painting here and there. On a small painting, it's pretty easy. A large one, I have to back up so much. It's fun, you know? At least I get some walking, some exercise. Hey, that's sort of a tree line, or a distant hill line. I think that's more or less what we're after. I may put a tree here, you know, or some sort of visual barrier to keep us focused into this area. I don't know that it's necessary, but it may be an improvement, you know? I like the shape of this closer island here, but I'm afraid it's just a little on the small side. I would like it to cut a little higher into the sky. I think the placement of it is okay. Let's just do that. Okay. Bit of an unfortunate intersection there, but that's okay. Okay, what do we have? That's well off in the distance, so we might need to have a few trees sitting on that one. You know, maybe for the most part it's a rocky bluff. I'm not sure. That's really kind of up to the imagination, I guess. It's not going to be too important. It's not going to catch a lot of light. The light's going to be caught around here. Yeah, okay, never mind those details. I'll run that off for the moment. For the moment, like I say, it may not stay, but for now I'll do it. Try to get this shape a little better. Yeah, I still feel like this is too high. One thing I'm not going to do is change my horizon, so we'll just call this line the horizon, okay? Just for future reference on this painting. I'm not going to change that. I don't think I'll change that island placement either. If I do anything, this is coming down. Okay, so I've sort of strengthened the line along the bottom of this piece of land, but you know, in truth, once your water is far enough away, you can't tell. There is really not much differentiation at all between this shoreline and this shoreline. The line might be harder between land and water, but they're really pretty much at the same level. I don't want to bring this line up here and cut it out. It's not going to look right. It would push this so far back. That is something that will be psychologically suggested in the viewer's mind, that one will be in front of the other. It's not a problem. Yeah, that is. Well, I could make this bigger. You know what I think I'll do? I'm going to put some trees here. Once those trees are in place, I'll get a better feel for that. Okay, well, I think think we'll go with that. As sort of an outline for these trees. Not sort of an outline, an actual outline. You know, they'll be, I think, somewhat nondescript. I don't think I'll paint them individually, the trees. I think I'll just sort of paint a mass of them. But I wanted this strength here because I know that I'm going to become pretty that's the problem with a piece of charcoal. You decide to put in fine small lines, and I mean, look at the tip of it. It's sort of it's not like working with a pencil, but I like it. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with how that's going to work. You know, I can introduce some of the sky poking through some of the foliage there. That's fine. You know, we might indicate bits of trunk here and there. You know, that sort of thing. Really not an issue, and I shouldn't even be drawing that in right now. I might as well just leave it be for now. Anyway, you get the picture. Okay, now that I did that, I want to do this. No. Okay, leave it alone, Phil. Okay, this isn't bothering me anymore. You know, I was saying how this seemed somehow just not low enough. This is how I wanted to be looking down more on it, but I think that's going to work just fine. This is very strong now. It's going to be opposed by some sky design. Again, I think we're going to have sort of the flow, you know. Always want to dance in your painting. You want some movement in there. Both in the objects from, you know, as you look at them close up, and they have to work together to create a general flow in the composition as a whole. Still debating what I'm going to do here. Maybe I won't worry about it. Maybe I'll just start to work on these rocks on this foreground. Help to qualify the bottom lines that are going to support the painting. The sky, because it is the sky, it can do so many things, you know. The options are limitless. So I'm not worried about getting the sky in. The sky will accommodate the harder, more solid objects in the foreground. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, well, I'm kind of getting a sense of what I want in the foreground here. I don't want this to be the same length as this. I get the feeling that it might end up being so. So if we put a strong line across there. That's all I'm doing again, you know, I'm just putting in some strong lines. I'm not drawing rocks yet, or at least I'm not thinking of them as rocks. I'm really trying to just focus on the idea of shapes for the moment. This is rock. I think I may have some grass in the foreground as well, but I'm not going to concern myself with that for the moment. There needs to be a lot of foreground there. There needs to be a lot of structure. It's very important that it's well done. So maybe I should get somebody else to do it. Okay, I'll try it myself. We'll see how it works out. Anyway, I'm just kind of dancing around on the floor here. Coming up with some ideas. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've given myself really a benchmark, and that's all. Now I'm going to sit in my chair and pick it apart and decide which has to become stronger, which has to become weaker, where I could stand to incur more into the water, where I could allow the water to dip down more, It's a process. Flick off my extra charcoal there, and then breathe it in, because charcoal filters the air that goes into your lungs. Don't do that, seriously. Okay, I think I'll publish this today, or maybe Saturday, I'm not sure yet. Either way, talk to you soon. Happy camping, happy travels, happy warm sunny day, hopefully. See you. Okay, I sat down for about 2 seconds and immediately realized that I was putting in too many lines. This is bold, powerful, close up, We don't want all kinds of little speckles here. We want some strong lines. Now there's going to have to be a lot of interest, value and color-wise, I suppose, and maybe small details within the strong lines. But I wanted this. I wanted it strong. Okay, that's enough. Saturday, we'll visit it, and it'll be coming along nicely by then, I think. Still be in the sketch stage, maybe the outlining stage. Anyway, have a good weekend.